Hello and welcome to the Thrifty Author. I'm your host, Gail C. Martin, and we have reached the end of launching your book without losing your mind. We've gone through 6 months up to your launch date, and then 6 months afterwards. And of course, the clock keeps ticking. So what do you do after that point? And the short answer is more of the same. You keep doing what you've learned to do and keep up the record keeping and keep up the advertising and the appearances and the promotion and the reader group and the social media. That really never ends. But as you start to get more books under your belt and you start going to these conventions live or online and meeting other authors, this is a fantastic opportunity to share information, to learn from what other authors are doing, to ask questions and get answers, and to get recommendations on resources, and of course to return that favor by being willing to provide all the things that you have learned when other people need information or resources or connections. So that is an ongoing and wonderful part of the author life, is getting to know the other authors and helping each other out. Because as we've said before, you're not in competition. Your readers are going to read hundreds of books. You can't possibly write that many books a year. And so you are all looking to lift the tide for everybody. And the other writers become a wonderful resource. They become friends, they become mentors and colleagues, and it just becomes a wonderful community. So that's something you want to intentionally nurture and develop, and also be a useful and helpful person so that people will want to get to know you. There is no point in keeping secrets here. There really aren't any. So if you find something that works, tell other people. If they are doing something that looks like it's going really well, ask them how. And that is just probably the most valuable thing you'll do for your writing career next to writing the next book. The other thing to keep in mind is that just because you've built a Facebook page or gotten on Twitter or created a YouTube channel, that's nice. In 3 months or 6 months or a year at least, all of the rules will be different. The algorithms will change, and what's popular and trending will change. There will be a handful or more of a slew of new social media sites that might be the latest and greatest. And you're going to have to constantly adapt. That means constantly learning, because what worked on a site to attract new members to your reader group, or to get lots of likes and comments, or to work the search engine algorithm and send people to your website or your blog, just because it worked 6 months ago probably means it's not going to work 6 months from now. And so constant education, asking questions, hiring someone to help you put something together like an ad campaign and teach you the ropes, or finding good, reliable groups that do some of the marketing pieces like blog tours for you, and building a relationship with them so that they become your go-to every time you have a launch. That all is part of this ongoing phase as well. You can't do everything yourself at the same time. Very few authors can afford to hire people to do all of it for them. So there's always this balance between what time can you spare away from your writing, and how much money can you afford to throw at something to have somebody else do it for you. And at the least, it's worth knowing how to do it so you can know if the person you hired is doing it right. And that's an ongoing, never ends, always changing piece of this, is that piece of education. And the last thing I want to touch on is that just because you brought out a book doesn't mean that it has to stay just a book. Of course, audiobooks are very popular, but people have done serializations. People have done prequels and sequels. People have done short stories that tie in amongst and between the books in a series. Some folks have done graphic novels or web comics or direct to YouTube videos, or all kinds of creative things that are really limited only by your interest and time and creativity. So there are a lot of ways for people to find your book and consume your book aside from just reading it. And some people really get into creating those and developing those, and other folks are like, hey, I'm good with just an audiobook, and that's all okay. It's just knowing that there are other options out there, you may decide to go, that would be interesting. Let's give that a try. And you don't know until you try. So some things will work better for some subgenres than others, and your mileage may vary, but that's kind of one of the things that keeps it interesting. So thank you very much for taking this journey about the launching your book without losing your mind countdown. And I'm Gail Z. Martin. There'll be more and new stuff here on The Thrifty Author, so stay tuned, and I'll see you online.